What's going on, guys? It's Steve. So, I'm kind of upset about what's been going on lately. First of all, the Cleveland Cavaliers just denied the trade for Carmelo Anthony. Now, I made a video a few weeks ago saying if Melo leaves, I hope he goes to Cleveland. And lo and behold, they offered a trade, but for some reason, they denied. Now, most people are saying the Cavaliers are stupid for denying this trade. And I agree 100% wholeheartedly. Now, not a lot, but a few people, like 5% of the people, are saying the Cavaliers were smart. So I'm going to discuss both sides and try to tell you what I personally think. However, let's start off with the minority. The 5% that thinks it was smart for Cleveland to deny the trade. I disagree with you guys, and here's why. Well, let me explain what their reasoning is first. Their reasoning is Kevin Love has experience with the Cavs now. This is his third year with them. He just came off a title with them. And now, there's so much chemistry built. Okay, I can understand that. However, LeBron James and Carmelo Anthony are really good friends. They're best friends. LeBron's referred to Melo as his best friend so many times. They're best friends. Chemistry won't be an issue. Ego won't be an issue. There was no issue between Wade, Bosh, and LeBron. There's going to be no issue between LeBron and Melo. No issue at all. Right? And then on top of that, here's the thing that a lot of people don't understand about Kevin Love. If you look at Kevin Love's stats against the Golden State Warriors, they're not even close to his regular season stats. I think they're 25% of his regular season stats against every other team. That's crazy. So 21-11 he's averaging this year, but against Golden State, it's so much lower than that, including the finals last year. So if you bring in Carmelo Anthony, a lot of people misconstrue the word playmaker. First of all, if you don't watch Knicks games, Carmelo Anthony is definitely a playmaker. He may not be as great as his best friend LeBron or Chris Paul are. However, he's a pretty solid playmaker. He makes plays for the New York Knicks. Well, if you notice, when he's not on the floor, they're extremely stagnant. And I told you guys in the beginning of the season, it's the coaching. Coach Hornacek, Chauncey Billups said it perfectly. His rotations are awful. They're terrible. His rotations are terrible. Why are you benching Melo for half the fourth quarter, playing him 32 minutes? Recently, when Melo's been playing more minutes, his stats have went up. He's averaging 27 points per game his last 4 games. So in terms of that, there's just no question that it was the minutes and the coaching. Everyone is now starting to speak up against Coach Hornacek, saying it's his fault. Well, about damn time, now that the season's almost over, you want to start saying that? It doesn't make sense to me. Now let's talk about why Melo to the Cavaliers is what's best for Cleveland and for LeBron. LeBron came out and said, I ain't got no damn time. And a lot of people think he's talking about right now. That's not what he's talking about. He's talking about the next 2 to 3 years. LeBron James is 33 years old. Carmelo Anthony is about to be 34. He's talking about the next 2 to 3 years. They don't have time to start trying to get pieces slowly. If they get Carmelo Anthony, I think they can beat Golden State. If they don't get Carmelo Anthony, I don't think they can beat Golden State. And here's why. You are going to be playing catch up with the Golden State Warriors. As much as I love Kyrie Irving, they cannot score enough points to keep up with Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry, and Klay Thompson. It's not possible with this roster. It's not, because LeBron is going to give you around 30 to 35 points per game. Unless he decides to be ridiculous and start averaging 40. But let's say 30 to 35 points per game in the finals. Kyrie's going to give you around 25. So let's say Kyrie gives you 25 points per game. Right? So 25 points per game. So now you have 25 plus 30. That's 55. And then if you look at Kevin Durant, that's 30 to 35. Curry, 25 to 30. Klay Thompson, 20 to 23. So they're going to be playing catch-up because Kevin Love, historically against the Warriors, is awful. The modern-day Warriors I'm talking about. It's awful. But if you have Carmelo Anthony, think about how much depth this team will have now and how much flexibility this team will have. Because think about it. If you want to rest LeBron, you could put Melo in. They're obviously all three going to start, right? But I'm saying, if you want to rest LeBron James, let's say, it's the second quarter, and you don't want to worry about, we're not going to be able to score the ball, or we're not going to be able to make any plays. Well, you have Carmelo Anthony, who's a solid playmaker. His passing, his setting screen, he knows that. He does that with the Knicks. It's just, for some reason, it doesn't work out because they suck. so sick of my Knicks sucking, man. I'm so sick of it. Anyway, so in terms of that, I sit there and I think, what the hell is wrong with the Cleveland Cavaliers? What is wrong with them? Why would they deny this trade? It doesn't make sense to me. It makes absolutely no sense that they would deny this trade to go and play and have Carmelo Anthony. Because for the next 2 to 3 years, you're going to be, favorites, in my opinion. I don't think Golden State can compete with Kyrie, Melo, and LeBron. That's 3 dominant scorers. Whereas the Golden State Warriors only have 2, but they have one that's a consistent scorer. There's a difference between dominant and consistent. Klay Thompson's consistent. However, the thing that's scary about Klay Thompson is if that guy gets his shot going and he starts feeling it, it's game over. So this is why you need Carmelo Anthony. And think about how much defensive issues this will create for the Golden State Warriors. How are they going to guard Kyrie, LeBron, and Carmelo? How would the Warriors be able to guard that? They wouldn't be able to. Think about it. Kevin Durant's going to have to be on LeBron. Melo's going to be on Draymond. Draymond's going to be on Melo. Whatever. Kyle Korver. Guess what? You can't put Stephen Curry on Kyle Korver. Kyle Korver's going to shoot right over him. And you do not, that's the last person in the league you want shooting those type of shots. Because it's the same thing with Kyrie Irving. If he gets hot, game over. It's the same exact concept. So how would the Warriors be able to guard Carmelo, LeBron, and Kyrie Irving? They wouldn't be able to. That's the thing. They simply would not be able to guard them. It's a crazy concept. And the other way around, Melo can play the 4 spot. He's better at the 4 now that he's slower than he was in his prime. So he's better at the 4 spot than he was prior to that. So anyway, Carmelo Anthony. It's a sad ending because it's apparent that they want him to leave. It's obvious now that they want Melo out. That it's obvious. And another obvious thing is they think Porzingis is the future, which he is. Everyone agrees with that. We all understand that. However, it's tragic what happened with the New York Knicks because, honest to God, this is a very, very sad event that Carmelo Anthony is being treated like this. Blamed for everything. Now people are saying, you know what? He still has it because what he's been doing the last few games. But these are the same people that don't even watch games. They just look at highlights or they just look at stats. So that doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't at all. So to me, it's like, it's heartbreaking because Carmelo is getting blamed. And Chauncey said it perfectly. Chauncey Billups agrees that Cleveland should have done it. Stephen A. agrees. Who else? Antonio McDyess, Steven Jackson. A whole bunch of people were agreeing that, the Cavs should have accepted Carmelo Anthony, which they should have. It's tragic that they didn't. Hopefully, let's say they trade Melo and Brandon Jennings for, Kevin Love and a first-round pick. Who knows? It's possible. There's still time to be traded. And to be honest, at this point in time, I think it's time Carmelo Anthony goes and gets an NBA championship. As a Knicks fan, it hurts because I know we're going to be irrelevant for the next 4 or 5 years, maybe a little shorter than that. But we're going to be irrelevant for a while again, which is sad. Even more irrelevant than the last 3 years with how bad our team was before. It's tragic because we had such a good team with Tyson Chandler and JR and Amon, and then Phil Jackson comes, blows up the roster, and gets no one. No one for 3 years. It's a very sad situation. And we're going to be irrelevant for a while to come, which sucks as a Knicks fan because my entire life, we've only been considered contenders one single damn time in 2013. My entire life, which is crazy because I've been alive for nearly 20 years. And my entire life, only once have we been considered NBA championship contenders, which is sad. We had a once-in-a-generation player, and we lose 3 key years of his prime. 3 key years of his prime to blow up a roster and rebuild in the midst of one of the best players in the world in their prime. It's crazy, So I hope Melo goes to the Cavaliers. I hope he somehow gets there because, to be honest, everyone agrees he deserves an NBA championship. So even he came out and said, my career wouldn't be complete to me if I don't win an NBA championship. So hopefully everything plans out well and goes well for, the Knicks and stuff. But anyway, guys, it's been Steve. I'm out. Peace.